Welcome to America's Mayor Live. Oh, I like that. I like that
background.
Oh, man, look at that sun going down
Or
in the west.
Palm Beach West.
Palm Beach West, West Palm Beach, West Palm Beach. No, that's probably as far away as Naples. I bet that's as far away as the Gulf of America.
Oh, the sun, yeah.
I bet. I mean, you know, those get very deceptive. I think we might be seeing right across the island here. Remember, it wasn't that long. We drove about a week. Was it a week or 2 weeks?
Last week?
That was a fun trip.
It was.
Naples, right?
Right through Alligator Alley.
We have a fun trip this week?
We got to make one, Mayor. We had a good one today. We went
to Miami today.
Did you guys see any alligators on Alligator Alley?
We did not.
No.
That's a disappointment.
We also didn't stop.
We didn't stop.
Well, on the way there, I think we had to.
Maybe we'll go see some alligators this week.
You know, we did it all in one day. We tend to do that with some of our trips, Mayor.
If we talk like this, does this this takes away from our telling you the news that you need to know, right? But I mean, we like to do it like we're all friends.
Yes.
My big shop buddy told me that is actually people like that.
Oh, well, I should hope so because people are human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to show you this picture here. So let's begin with a picture. Picture is better than 1,000 words. So I'm not going to say anything tonight. I'm just going to show pictures. It'll be like each picture will be 1,000 words. We have 50 pictures. Think of all the words.
I wonder. We should have told that to our English teachers in school.
They don't have English teachers anymore. So this guy, isn't this wonderful? The nice welcome he gets back in communist Venezuela. Isn't that nice? Now, I would like you to know that this guy self-deported. He self-deported because he kicked a cop in the face and attacked several other cops. His name is, in case you ever meet him, Gomez Izquiel. He is a hardliner. He's a hardliner in the socialist regime of Nicolas Maduro. So he's like a real communist, and they got him back. Darwin Andres Gomez Izquiel was greeted with a warm hug by the Venezuelan Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace. See all the Venezuelan criminals coming off there. These are the people that ruined the Roosevelt Hotel. They drove the people in Marine Park. Drove them crazy is the least of it. Raped them, beat them. They didn't do a stitch of work. When Adams offered jobs to them, 5% showed up. There's one lazy bum after another. That's future of America is going to depend on that, on those Venezuelan communists. And this one guy here, if you look up there, is being greeted by one of Maduro's lieutenants, which means one of the local communists. And as they described, this was all good, even though they came back, because this was, quote, a tool to attack the United States. Now, how often has Trump told you that Maduro is doing this to attack the United States? They admitted it. Are you going to hear that tonight on CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, Bubba FU, and all of those? You can hear it on those? Of course not. Because they conceal the truth. Or better put, they lie in order to create a narrative that'll have you buy Marxism. And we had under Biden done that. And what Trump is now trying to do, and that's where the discomfort takes place. That's where all the anger comes from. He's trying to wrench it away from the grips of atheistic communism. And it's like a battle with Satan. And please don't think I'm being crazy. Marx thought he was Satan. What I'm saying has much more solid historical depth than anything you hear from the left, because they're too stupid to analyze. When you get so far left, you've actually lost your ability to be rational and to analyze. Someone like Rachel Madcow has lost whatever ability she ever had, if any, to have the synapses of the brain work correctly. So you can put two logical, sensible thoughts together. The prejudices that have warped her have eaten those away. And then, she actually can only do it once a week now. I mean, what a scam that is. They pay her like $20 million for once a week. Why the hell did they pay her $20 million for once a week to get on television and just scare people? I mean, you got to be a special person to kind of put up with Rachel Maddow. Every time I'd walk into somebody's house and Rachel Maddow was put on, all the children in the house would start crying, looking at her. Which is, by the way, typical of a lot of those left-wing women. They really are weird looking. Sorry, I mean, come on. So there's our little communist saying hello to the big communist. But I want you to notice now who and what he is. This is him just a few months ago. Here he is just a few months ago trying to beat up a New York cop. That's the same guy greeted so warmly by the communist government of Venezuela, trying to beat up a New York cop. That's him right there. Okay. And this is him wanted for robbery, of which he did many. This was just one that he was caught at. Darwin Andres Gomez Israel, who helped assault two cops in Times Square and allegedly aided in a Macy's robbery, then was deported, hugs a top official in the Venezuelan government Monday. I would like to point out that Maduro said, "I will never take anyone back from the United." You better bring him in. Trump may do something. What a difference when you have a president. It's really, really good and very necessary, and I probably appreciate this more than most. And that is, and I know people get uncomfortable about this, and you should get uncomfortable about it, because in normal times, this would be a highly unusual thing to do. He's penalizing law firms who engaged in seriously illegal and unethical activity. These are the law firms who use their pro bono time to help political causes as opposed to poor people. Now, that isn't why we created pro bono in the legal profession, not for them to represent a bunch of illegal Venezuelan criminals and keep them here so that as they play out their lifetime of pedophilia, the victims are American children. This was to take care of poor people who were being thrown out of their houses, or poor people who had to live in a black neighborhood where the black politician in charge took all the money. That's what they were there for. Not to enrich the crooks, but to try to help lift the poor people. And as Malcolm X warned his own people, the worst enemy of our people is the white liberal. They're the ones who want to enslave us. And they, to some extent, have. And it is our job as Republicans to do it again. Not for all black people. Black people have come so far, it's magnificent. And many of them join us in this effort, hoping can you find anybody better than Byron? Or I mean, come on, like we could give you a whole list. They're better than we are, but there are a lot that are still in the grasp and in the grip of these tormentors. I mean, these neighborhoods exist so the Democratic Party can exist, and they exist poor, and they remain poor because they must be dependent. And when there aren't enough of them, they bring in illegals to do the same thing. And then they're helped by law firms who offer free services to organizations that are acting to destroy the United States in the name of helping poor people because they're too something or other to see through it. Well, those law firms are now being penalized because they're not neutrally offering their pro bono services. One of them is Jenner and Block, and it's Jenner and Block is a Chicago. What? Oh, they're all bad.
Actually, you're right. I take that back.
They're all bad. I mean,
it's hard to say.
When I say all,
bad.
we'll start. Well, it'd be a lot easier if we made a list of the law firms that were ethical and honest and decent. Jenner and Block is not.
Right.
Well,
right. 100%.
But Jenner and Block, Paul Weiss has decided to settle with the government. Jenner and Block said that they're going to fight it because it's unconstitutional.
Bullshit.
Fight it, okay?
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want. You're the most, and nobody likes working there anyway. People who work there are slaves, and they hate it. I've been in big law firms. I ran a big law firm. I can tell you that you are a serf if you're not a major partner in a big law firm, and they determine your life for you. So there are people who feel because Zelensky's acting much better now, meaning he's now saying things like only Donald Trump can bring about the peace. And he's saying, you see, Russia doesn't want peace. We have always wanted peace. Now, this one is a little hard to take since when he left that contentious meeting with Donald Trump, his attitude was, we're going to have war forever. But, okay, people take different positions. A lot of people say he was affected by the fact that he brought boxing gloves with him and stuff to the White House. Here's a picture of him looking like a schmuck. But you see the WBC?
Right.
That's like the belt, right?
Right.
So I think he had the champ with him. I think he had the I think he had the champ with him because that's his belt.
That's funny. Love that.
Alexander Usyk, the current what?
A real tough guy.
Yeah, a real guy. Yeah, Alexander. That I love these Ukrainian boxers. I represented the guy who's the mayor of Kyiv. Alexander Usyk, current world heavyweight boxing champion. And he's got that boxing. They think that's what made him very aggressive because he has that boxing glove behind him. Now, Trump must have enjoyed that part of the visit because he loves all forms of pugilistic science.
Right. Wow.
And he says that maybe that might have affected him and made him more.
How far along into boxing did you get, Mayor?
Oh, only about 10, 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I never.
Your father was a boxer.
Yeah, I didn't like. I enjoyed boxing when my father taught me. When I was like 7 and 8 and 9, he'd sit in an armchair, put on boxing gloves. I'd sit in the armchair, and we would box. So this was a lot of fun. And then he went and he bought a big bag and a small bag, and he put it on our basement. We'd go work out.
You guys would?
That was fun, yeah. And then he put me in some boxing matches, and first couple of them were really fun because nobody else knew what to do. The first one, when I got hit in the nose, I didn't like. I said, Dad, I didn't think it happened this way. He said, well, come on, don't be stupid. That's the way it happens. I said, I think I want to play baseball. And then I was playing football at the time. And he told me, if you don't want to box, you can't play football.
Oh,
He said, because football is worse. So
wow.
I
He might have been.
I didn't like football as much. And I was a fullback, so I would get tackled by everybody. Right?
Smoked as a
So
fullback. Back then, especially.
He said it never made sense to him that I wanted to play football rather than box, because if you box, there's only one man you have to deal with.
Yeah.
But you play football, 3 or 4 people jump on you even from the back.
Yeah. You never
And
know.
he said it's going to create more brain damage. And I wonder if my father wasn't right.
I was going to say he was ahead of the time
Yeah.
on that. Because you would think, no, boxing's got to be worse than playing football.
But you know,
but the more you think
truth
about
is
it,
that a punch that you anticipate is considerably less. Stephen is doing the right thing. He's moving his head away. So you want an experiment? Take a baseball. Have somebody throw it to you softly, catch it. Then have him throw it to you hard and just leave your hand there. Now, have him throw it to you just as hard and move your hand back. You don't feel a damn thing. So the point is that
look.
is a lot better than that. And the worst is this. When you see those quick, strange knockouts, could be the boxing match is fixed. I'm not saying, but very often this is what's happens. The guy is boxing, right? He moves in, and the other guy is quick enough and sees an opening as he's moving in, and he hits him as he's moving in.
Right.
That just took my punch and made it twice as powerful as it is.
Right.
If you don't move, it's powerful. If you move back, you kill the power by at least half. If you move into it, you go down. So in a way, a great boxer is watching for those things.
Yes. Yeah, you're anticipating, like you said.
I mean, you know when you hit a guy with a jab and he's moving his head away, you haven't done anything.
Right.
I mean, you just scored a 1 point. But you know, even a jab, if you hit him with a jab and while he's coming in, that's going to do a lot of damage.
Oh, that makes my head hurt just thinking about that, Mayor.
Think of a car accident. Car hits you in the back, but you're rolling along.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You don't get much damage. On the other hand, you're totally still and the car hits you in the back, you get a lot of damage. Now, think about the fact that if you were going toward the guy when he hits you, whoa.
Oh, God.
And that's where you get a lot of these strange knockouts that all of a sudden you see the guy go right down. Take a good look at it. You'll see the guy's moving into the punch. Bam. And you're right down. So I was really glad to see Michael Goodman's column today. Michael and Miranda Devine are the 2 wisest columnists in the country. But tonight, this one has left has Nazi derangement. I think the left uses the charge of Nazi as the default charge. And Michael, I think it's the left both in America and overseas, because we were just overseas. And they were accusing a lot of people of being Nazis who are just right-wing, and they're not Nazis. Not only are they not Nazis, they're big friends. One of them who was accused of being a neo-Nazi is right now in Israel helping Bibi Netanyahu. That's a hell of a Nazi. And he's really talking a little bit about how they've sort of tied up Bibi in this idea that he's I have no idea where this idea that Bibi is a Nazi has come from. Not Bibi, Musk is a Nazi has come from. I never heard it before he was in politics. Never heard anything about his being a Nazi. I know that he's not a Nazi, but they'll make that charge over and over and over again. Here's an example right here. They just decided he's a Nazi.
I'd be so mad if you imagine walking out. Imagine buying one of these new trucks, walking out from work. Whoa, end of the day.
I think Michael calls it Nazi derangement. I call it Nazi default. It's like their default charge. It's like racism and Nazi racism. And in Europe, it's Nazi. Every right-wing group is associated with Nazis, and the scumbag New York Times just writes it. He then goes on to take after one of our favorite people, Schumer.
Too easy. That's too easy.
Yeah. It's terrible, though. The level of anti-Semitism is extremely disturbing to any decent American who cares about human rights and civil rights. And this is something that I do believe most of us thought could never, ever happen in America. The level of anti-Semitism and the Jew hatred that takes place in the United States. So as part of the lawsuit that has been brought against these groups that are protesting, the hostage families who have sued them have come up with some very, very damning evidence. They've come up with evidence that the students who were protesting, particularly the higher-ups who were paid by Soros or someone else, had foreknowledge of the attack of October 7 and other information in advance in order to time and get ready to time the protests at the right place at the right time and in the right way. So the idea that they were aiding and abetting is beyond just a speculation. It's a reality. They got calls right before the attack took place, being told it would take place. And the American judges want to keep them here in the United States. Why don't they take the little communist bastard home? And lock them up in their house. I mean, it's crazy. And they have some of the evidence. I don't know how. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how solid it is, but it's there. And these are people that were previously respected, but I didn't respect them. I'm previously respected in the perverted left-wing community. The president of Colombia is playing a very dangerous game also. Claims to be going along, but is not going along. We're going to get rid of the mask. People will wear a mask. I don't know who thinks he's playing with, but Trump is a little distracted right now. When he catches up with her, oh, I want to be there. The powerful chairman of the House Education Committee has just directly said that Columbia University is double dealing on its promise to crack down on masks. That's Chairman Tim Walberg. And basically taking the same position that they say one thing and they do another. If I were Columbia, I would take you're past the time when you can do this. No one in my party or no one of the people that look at the world the way I do, which makes up a large percentage of my party in the administration, thinks you have any goodwill left. So you screw around after promising to do this. Yeah, they're going to take all the grants away. They can take everything away. So you look like you were making a positive thing, and now you're sliding back. And my advice is stay where you are and stop sliding back. It turns out now we mentioned the untimely and tragic death of Brett Gardner's son, Miller. Turns out now it was food poisoning. Now, it was outside the United States in Costa Rica, but still, again, our sympathies to Rob and his family, and I think he has also a daughter. I mean, this is about as sad as you can get. I cannot get through tonight. I'm sorry, I cannot get through tonight without listening one more time to my favorite Democrat. Who's that?
Wow. So right now there might be a few.
I know who it is.
Jasmine.
That's the new one.
Head of the Democratic National.
Yeah, we were thinking Jared Polis was high on my list.
Oh, he
Yeah, I thought
was.
you wanted
Yeah.
to hear Feliz Navidad.
Now let's see
I'm
what we
waiting
got
for Christmas.
from the new spokeswoman of the Democrat Party, Mayor. I think
Is she
us
taking over
as-
for Schumer?
Well, I have one. I'm going to show you this picture. You tell me what you see here, and if Miss Crockett should face the same scrutiny as Elon Musk, Mayor. What do you see here
Me.
with
So, all right,
Miss
it's
Crockett
me.
featuring Miss Crockett?
Is she related to Davy?
Davy,
No,
Davy.
probably
Crockett.
not.
Well,
What,
could be.
what do you
He
see
was a
here?
hardworking kind of guy.
That's okay. Wouldn't have been him. It could be somebody after him.
What do you notice here about Miss Crockett's?
Her face is split in half. Oh,
What is she
Nazi
doing
salute.
here? Breaking.
Oh, that's much worse than Elon Musk.
This is like a full Nazi salute. Oh, and to do it in front of the Harris Wall sign. So they're clearly endorsing it as well.
Wow.
Have they denounced it? I don't think they've denounced it. Therefore, they're standing by it. We need answers from Miss Jasmine Crockett.
And beyond this, the Governor Hot Wheels comment that she hasn't walked that back even an inch.
Well, she's
No.
attempting to.
No,
she
she
is.
didn't. No.
Let me show
She
you.
says this. She didn't mean to. She wasn't referring to him being in a wheelchair, and she's not going to apologize.
Okay, so you're right. That's not walking it back. That's
She's sure as hell.
It's lying.
That's
Oh,
and the
come
point,
on.
Steve.
She didn't. Come
you're
on.
right. You're right. You're right. I'm agreeing with you. That doesn't count as
What a
walking.
liar.
It back.
What
I was actually thinking about his transportation infrastructure
What a
policies,
dummy.
right?
What a dopey way to. Who's that?
Oh, that's Brandon. Oh, sorry. I'm going through to find the others, and I didn't mean to have that still on.
Okay. Well, you get
Sorry.
those off there now. We'll take a short break while you find the others.
Yeah. Jasmine Crockett, the new.
We'll be back with a little more Jasmine Crockett, the new head of the Democratic Party.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal, 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code ROOT.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2. Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans. No Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's Coffee.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely.
That's fine.
Welcome back to the Rudy Giuliani Show. This is quite a euphemistic and very modest statement by the Post in describing Jasmine Crockett, who showed total insensitivity to a man who's in a wheelchair and mocked him, being described as a Texas firebrand.
Whoa.
She's a lot more than a firebrand.
Let's hear it.
Texas firebrand lefty Jasmine Crockett.
Let's hear the so-called firebrand.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So
Hot ass what?
So
Hot ass mess. I mean, she's not even clever, right?
Very classy woman. She must have gone to the New York City schools, Ted. When I hear people like that, I'm almost convinced that they were educated in New York and didn't learn anything. Does she feel that she has to do this, you think?
I think so. No, sorry. I think she realized after she started doing it that it raised her money. And she's not even, and she may think it's good for the party and all that, but I think this is all very much a, what's the word I'm looking for? Ego. When someone has a big ego, right? Very much a narcissistic.
vanity project.
A vanity project.
And she is certainly enjoying her time in the sun on this one. And
Right.
it's giving her some short-term gains and dopamine boost when you see your Act Blue account balance tick up ever so slightly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just, she's just a human being, a very, very bad human being.
A flawed
Flawed and
and
bad.
she,
Poor moral character.
but my question,
bartender, can I have a double?
Mayor, my question,
Double of what, she would say.
Mayor, my question to you is, what do you think some of the old guard of the old Democratic Party, brass, what are they thinking when they see someone like this, with so much star power? Even the media is like, some in the media are fawning over her, not all. What do they think they're thinking when they realize they have a problem and this is what some think is the solution?
Yeah, I think so. I think they think this is their reach out to the young vote.
Wow.
And they're jealous that
And they're
they
losing.
get away with it. That she can get away with calling people names and stuff. They're like, oh, I can't do that.
And she is I mean, she can go very far. She gets away with it. And I think in the last couple of weeks, she's really ascended. I mean, people talk about her as the other, as she can be the leader of the party.
Right.
And nobody wants to say no. They're afraid of her.
Right. That's how Democrats roll. They're afraid.
Yep.
That's why Kamala Harris was the nominee, because they're so afraid.
Well,
And Joe Biden wanted to spite the rest of the party that kicked him off the ballot. Sorry,
there's a feeling among some Republicans, right-wing Republicans, that Vance did not acquit himself well on these tapes because he was so reluctant and first world in the sense that he doesn't want to accept the changes that are happening in America. And he did display a kind of hostility toward Europe, which to some degree, I think we all agree with, and to some degree we don't, and we're not sure what degree he's on. So I think of all the people, in terms of the comments that were made on the tape that was revealed, or the conversation, Vance left the most questions.
That's what some people think?
Yeah.
Like, we have more questions about Vance after seeing these than any of the other members of the call or of the chat, is what some are suggesting? Or Vance is asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everybody else acted true to form. He acted true to form because he says he's an isolationist. But when you see it in application, it's a very bad application of isolationism. Like, don't do anything about the Houthis after they killed you.
Right.
So I think.
What's your takeaway, Mayor?
That's what it is. My takeaway is I was very disappointed that he had such trouble with it. I mean, I've been advocating getting up there and hitting them from the time Israel didn't, and they attacked Israel, and they killed American ships, killed American soldiers and sailors on ships.
That's what he said. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there was something strange that happened there.
Well, I admire the diversity of perspectives in the decision making.
I did that too. I thought that it was a very intelligent discussion.
Yeah.
Of the pros and the cons.
Yeah, which is a given, though, right? We expect that from our leaders. I'm interested, Mayor, when you say, because he uses strong language, right? Mistake. He says, I think we are making a mistake. That's pretty determinative, right? In terms of, that's a vice president of the United States telling the rest of the senior staff, we are making a mistake. Well, when he says we, he's meaning you
him.
guys.
Yeah. Does it mean him?
And he says, he makes some points here, so that's interesting. Others would maybe JD, he's a smart man. Maybe he's playing devil's advocate to a degree. But I noticed that too, Mayor, with these chats.
Right.
JD Vance's position here.
Well, and setting himself up to be more of a purist on the I am not for foreign entanglements sort of side of things, which was really popular on the campaign trail.
Right.
This time around.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a very good point.
If we don't have foreign entanglements, we're going to get sunk.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, in a perfect world, right? Like, yeah, we'd love to live in a world where that wasn't the reality.
So what do you make of this guy who wrote the Atlantic article? Is he just a lying troublemaker?
Jeff, well, we know that he's more than a troublemaker, right? I think sometimes he's a liar, and he is dare I say, a paid propagandist. But if you go back to a number of the stories he peddled, including President Trump in his first term, but even beyond that, going back to I believe Bush, and there were some things that happened in the 2000s. He's known to have peddled stories with a specific agenda in mind that isn't simply to report the news, right? Or even give his opinion.
Right.
He injected misinformation. He's injected partisan opposition research. He is a paid shill of the Democrat Party. But he is. And you know this, Mayor. I mean, the Atlantic, first of all, the president and you both had very similar reactions the other day when this came out, right? One, well, shoot, if you're trying to hide something from the public, put it in the Atlantic, right? Nobody reads that anymore. And of course, also pointing out there misinformation and pretty consistent anti-Trump reporting.
Almost exclusively anti-Trump.
And I thought you very wise, Mayor, and it shows that you are a leader and you've held various roles where you've had to make decisions such as this. When you said, don't fire him right away. If you think a change needs to be made, if you do it now, you're just gonna
give in to them. You're gonna fire him for the wrong reason.
And they're gonna
the reason you're gonna fire him is that he seems too reluctant. He's still a little too afraid of pulling the trigger. Whether he's a leftist or an isolationist or not, then you got to pull the trigger if you think it's time for America to stand up straight.
Go to something like this. Absolutely. And you would just energize the left. If they took him out now, the left would take it as a victory and they'd double down their efforts to get others.
Well, and at least have a replacement ready too. You know, like you want to have your plan put together.
Yeah, a replacement for him.
Yeah, well, if you are going to replace him, I think you should have your replacement.
Sure, I agree with that.
Ideas ready before you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Not just the replacement,
like
but
not just do it on a Tuesday, and it's like, shoot, now we got to figure out who to hire.
Now we got another wild card. Now what's this guy gonna do?
There was a protest, and I want to report it because I've said so often that the Palestinians don't protest. There was a protest by Palestinian against Gaza. The other day.
Yeah.
Which I think is the first good sign that the people of Palestine are beginning to see a separation between them and the rest of the world.
Right.
And I think that's a good step. Let's see if it continues.
Yes.
The first piece of good news I've heard on that front in a very, very long time. And the allies are splitting on the U.S. tariffs. Canada wants to go toe-to-toe with us and fight us. England and Germany wants to stay reciprocal. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens because it depends on which policies end up being the most positive. You can have tariff possibilities that help you and tariff possibilities that hurt you. And if they're smart enough to exacerbate the ones that help us, they'll change the attitude on tariffs. So let's hope. Let's hope they do.
Right. Wow.
So Donald Trump is stepping up the Denmark thing.
Yeah.
He's really stepping it up. He made a statement either late last night or yesterday or this morning.
I love his strategy on this, Mayor.
He told Vance to let them know that we need Greenland for international safety and security. We need it. We have to have it. And we're going to have it.
Wow. No, man, isn't it nice to have a president again?
I mean, that's really a president, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have it.
We got to have it.
No fooling around.
Yeah. We got like a real leader. A real leader in office, Mayor.
And who knows why? And who knows exactly why he's leading as opposed to
right.
I don't know where I'm going.
Right.
I'm leading by following.
Right.
Walking in seemingly incorrect directions all the time.
I always thought
so funny.
I'm leading by following is one of the things that I would begin to teach people to think rationally. The two words cancel each other out.
Right.
To lead is to be out front. To be in the back is to follow. The person out front sees the horizon, and the leader of the group is certainly the one out front. The other person may be a leader in a smaller environment, but you have to have the courage to have and state your ideas, whether people say or boo if they're your ideas. So we're trying very, very hard in what we do to prepare you for that, to have the information that you need and the arguments that you need to be able to do that. And this week we'll have a very interesting meeting on Thursday, and we'll see what's going on. Okay.
What?
So tomorrow night we'll we actually have 15 more minutes, which is very unusual.
Oh, did you think it was 9:45?
I did.
I was thinking, Mayor, this is a first.
But so I have some good pictures I want to show people. So I want to show you this first. Let me see if I can. That's a better one. So I want to show you how unfair the courts are. And something has to be done about them, because today I gave a speech to Judicial Watch, and we talked a lot about what has to be done with the courts. Those are the injunctions that have been issued. Look at that. And those are the injunctions that other people got. He's already gotten 64. Like, the judges haven't lined up against him. Are you kidding me?
Right.
These are things like deporting aliens. He's supposed to do that.
He is also doing much more. So,
It is true. There's more to enjoin. Although Biden signed a lot of orders when he first came in. Well, I know Ted will be interested in this story. This is where the spring break is now goes crazy and wild.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
you know me, Mr.
It
Parker.
used to be Fort Lauderdale, remember?
Right.
They even did movies about Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, right.
That'd be more when I was a kid, I think.
Right.
Fort Lauderdale had enough of it, and they really are hard on you.
They are.
If you're carrying alcohol outside, they arrest you. If you're acting like a jerk, they'll stop you. They want to keep the crowds, relatively low.
Right.
So this is in the panhandle of Texas, of Florida, leading toward Texas. It's really on the Gulf of America. And here are two. This seems like a relatively nice set of three women, but take a look at that. That's what they look like when the cops aren't around.
now what's wrong with this?
Getting wild, getting crazy. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't want my daughter.
Yeah, you're not a father. You know
that scene right there.
You know what I didn't show you is
You want your daughter in the middle of that?
what I didn't show you is how crowded these bars are. The bars are fire traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened, unfortunately,
You
every
can't
couple of years.
move in the bar. The police should clean the bar out to the minimum people, and it should get rid of the people on the street who are crowding the street and making it terrible. But this has been going on for a long time, and it keeps moving. And kids get hurt and busted up, and they end up not graduating, and they end up failing because they spending all their time doing this crap. This is what high school is for.
Just spring break. Not all the time.
Yeah, I know, but the spring break, you shouldn't. If on spring break you go off and act like a delinquent, unresponsible person, you're going to end up that way. The problems they're giving the police up in the Panhandle are very, very, very extensive and very difficult. We know there's a big effort to have our favorite senator step down. This post-cartoon shows you Nancy Pelosi and Chuck, and I don't know who's behind him here, but he gets up the courage to tell her, "I'm not stepping down." And he's falling apart there. The little bit of spine that he has, that's why the guy's holding him back there, is falling apart. But there's Chuck E. Cheese. So, pardon me?
Chuck E. Cheese. That's a good one. I don't know why we never used that one.
Chuck E.
Crying
Cheese.
Chuck. That's a Crying Chuck Schumer. That was one.
So tell me how you guys, as long as this is a story that's dominating us, maybe this is the last night we have to cover it. The whole cheese debacle.
The Signalgate? What they're calling Signalgate?
Don't call it that.
That just plays into the idea that
Yeah,
it's a gate, that it's a what was the original Oh, Watergate. It plays into the idea. You're right. Okay. The signal chat deal, or let's call it it really is the left weaponizing a non-story.
Nothing
right?
burger.
The signal smear.
Half of
Nothing
me
burger.
thinks though that it's just some genius game of 4D chess that we're playing on our side. Like, look how much of an asshole this guy is. Like, we'll just expose him for being a.
I don't think so, because Goldberg is loving it. Jeffrey Goldberg, he loves it.
So it's symbiotic. So maybe
Right?
like,
He's never been bigger. Well, he's had a few moments, right? But everyone's talking about him. These guys, that's all they care about.
What was his?
They don't care about the country.
What was his last?
Oh,
story?
Russia.
Russia.
I'm sure the Atlantic had some piece about somehow America's mayor being aligned with Russia over America, right? Stuff like that. He is the worst, and he actually his time. He goes back to the Iraq War. We'd have to really go into his role into some of the weapons of mass destruction hoax, and I want to get that right. So maybe tomorrow night we'll dig into that. But my thought is, Mayor, it's a nothing burger. Stephen had the right word, so I'm going to steal Stephen's thought before he says it. It's a nothing burger, and the left and the Democrats are going to continue to use it with their media allies to distract, to jam people up, to sow division within the walls of the White House. So it's serving those purposes, right? Michael Waltz's detractors are using this to try to force him out. Same with Pete Hegseth. Big nothing burger. Like you said, people make mistakes in life. We're human. In this case, thank God, nobody was hurt because of it. Learn from it. Move forward. Stephen. And one final thought. I agree with the mayor. If the president feels he needs to make a change, make that change in about a month.
Yeah.
A couple months. And make it very much.
I don't know. I can't get a sense of watching him on TV, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it, where his feelings are. They may be as neutral as it seems on TV, or he could be very angry inside. I don't know.
And you
If
hear
I was with him, I could tell you that. But.
Or he could be the one in charge of the 4D chess. This is a big distraction. We all did it. Good job. You did a good job.
Well, my thought is, one thing I thought maybe he wasn't totally clear at first, because I'm guessing he's never used Signal himself, right? Or maybe. I doubt he does.
Everyone knows about Signal because that's like,
it is the one
Tucker's Signal got hacked. When
okay, you're right. So he definitely knew about it. But I think as more information was brought to him by people who might be trying to hurt Michael or defend him, who knows, right? What's being brought in front of him,
right?
How he can be swayed from there. Generally speaking, it seems like he's standing by him, and he's a smart enough guy to know that people are going to use this to take down Mike, and other people will try to defend him, and he knows that sort of game, right? More than anybody.
Well, so that's the substance of the actual man himself and his capabilities and duties beyond like one.
Yeah.
Whether it's a mishap or not, maybe he just has really tangible substantive contributions to bring to the table, and you don't want to get rid of him.
Right.
Right. Like there could be
But that could be why his detractors are trying to using this as the opportunity, like, oh, this is our chance to get this guy out.
Yeah.
And that's how
I don't know what happened to him, though. I mean, something happened to him over the years. He's become more radical, although he hates the radicals. So he has to give into it.
Who's that?
I was talking about the way in which the Republican Party has to deal with some of these people who come at them from the right.
Yes.
How to deal with some of these people? Yes, that's a good point.
They have to make compromises, like the speaker does, and I think he's very how would you put it? Very very unfairly treated because he has an enormously difficult job. I'd like to see any of them run a institution with a three-person majority.
Oh, okay. So we're talking Mike Johnson here, and when I worked on the Hill and we had the majority, and by golly, by the time I left, I was like, you guys take the darn thing, because this is just too much. I don't know what to do. So
Mike Johnson, is he's getting it from the right. He always has, right? On certain, like you said, right? It's easy to take these positions until you're the leader, and you have to take more into consideration than when you're just when you're just a member,
right?
That can just go off and
imagine how like someone like Rand Paul would react if he were in the position of
speaker,
being like speaker or majority leader rather, and he had to actually like
do things.
he couldn't just stand on principles all the time. Which, by the way, God love that man for doing so.
But you know, it is true. He's never put himself in the position where he had other people depending on him, so he just can't say any crazy thing he wants.
Right.
But he gets to take a stand on principles that are
Right.
solid and appreciated.
But what is he? Sorry, Rand Paul. I've got my own issues there. With Rand. Like, well, Rand Paul. He's been in government for. All right. Rand's a good man. Right. On totality, Rand is in the good column.
You're in an impossible position at times, right? And that is one body that is very difficult to lead.
Can you imagine?
Can you? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Well, I can actually.
Yeah. Well, you've been involved.
Yeah.
We've both worked on the Hill, Mayor. You've successfully avoided any professional work on Capitol Hill as a staffer. I don't think you ever considered running for Congress.
Time I appeared on Capitol, I couldn't believe it.
Just how
I couldn't believe how stupid they are.
yeah.
I completely agree. Oh my
So
God.
once I had to put together a panel of assistant U.S. attorneys that could come and testify on I don't know what it was. It was on probably something in the 1994 bill that's become so controversial. But they were there to testify on sentences or to testify on something. And they walked away and they said, "We're so disillusioned." And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "They're so ridiculous. They don't ask questions. They make speeches."
Oh, of course. Hearings, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's do they ever seriously consider things?
Well, now they write books.
Well,
now they write books.
Well, a staffer writes.
They write
but
books. They don't read bills.
a staffer also writes the question and puts it in front of them. You notice they don't know how, like the inflection in the question
But
half the time.
how can Pelosi say you can read it? You can read the bill after it's passed.
Remember that Obamacare?
It's incredible. It's incredible. That was a piece.
I think she was being honest.
Well, I was going to say. That's
She was
being
trying to-
honest. It's
That's it. You're not going to read it anyway. If I
In
give you another
frustration,
read.
Right.
I think she expressed that in
Well,
frustration.
what if it's like, trust me, you won't understand this
Right.
bill.
Yeah,
If you
you're
read it
not-
anyway. There's no point to it. You know?
Right.
You can read it all you want.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. You want to read it? Go ahead, sucker.
Man,
Read it if you want.
Ted,
That's how
may
you're
I
voting.
ask, when you did that picture there, is there a reason you left Ted out? Do you want the girls just to concentrate on you?
That's actually on Steven.
No.
Steven set that camera.
I didn't say it.
Yes, you set that camera.
He might get a little competition.
Yeah. Well, what I was doing.
Whenever you know why he does that. Now we get letters and it says,
Down.
"Is Steven single? I mean, is Ted?
Yeah.
Is Ted single?
Yeah.
What kind of food does he like?"
I was resetting the background. I had to switch to a second shot. Steven's leaving himself out. I don't know. Maybe Steven doesn't like his
How
shot
does he
today.
feel if I have a child? How do I answer these questions? What do I look like, Miss Phoebe?
Oh, right. No,
Love
I
letters to Miss
confide
Phoebe?
in you. I
I know you do, but I can't. I don't.
consult with you.
But
on-
I can't do like a love column. Dear Miss Phoebe, I
Dear
have been
Mayor,
watching-
let's start it.
You
Dear-
could do it.
You could.
You're
do it.
mayor. That's
You would be
actually-
fun.
no,
Do it.
I'm not going to be mayor. I have to be some kind of a pseudonym. Dear Miss Phoebe,
Miss Phoebe.
on
Phoebe,
Mayor
oh.
Giuliani's show, there is this young man named Ted. I have found that over the time that I watch it, I've developed a very strong sexual attraction to him. Does he have one to me?
Yeah.
I would have to say, well, you have to send me a picture. I mean,
We don't always agree, but
no, we don't.
that
we
is
don't.
right.
We have a different taste. Yeah, it's true. I more often agree with Stephen than I do with you.
I could make a really good joke with that one, but I
On
won't.
what-
I know you can, but you're not.
Yeah.
But you're not.
What matters? Like intellectual matters.
Yeah.
things like that.
We got to have fun here. We're almost there, Mayor. We haven't entered soccer time yet.
Well, yeah, now we are.
We're in soccer time now,
Oh,
but baseball's getting ready.
Here we go.
Tomorrow.
We got to get some. Tomorrow. Opening day is tomorrow.
You got it, babe.
Oh.
You're way too wrapped up in our work, Mayor.
Yankees
well,
are
it's the weather. You can't tell down here when the weather in
Yankees are
Michigan-
opening in New York tomorrow, and the
Look.
Dodgers may be opening. I mean, the Mets may be opening in Miami.
Oh, Miami.
The Mets are?
I think.
Let's take a look. That's right. Yeah, Brewers Yankees 3:05 opening pitch, first pitch. And the Mets will be again. Mets, a lot of
Yeah.
excitement with the Mets. They'll play. They're playing Houston. They're opening up
Houston, okay.
in
I knew it was a
Houston.
warm. Well, actually, it's indoors in Houston.
And then the Marlins.
It's
Next week.
indoors? Oh, it's
Next week, maybe we'll go.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've never been to that stadium.
Who are we kidding? Middle of
that-
the week, we're not going to a
come up
baseball.
to Tampa. Wait, is that not happening anymore? That's
The Tampa Bay, the
That's-
Tampa Bay Rays.
oh, okay.
But they play in St. Pete.
I
They
thought
play
there were
in
a
Tampa.
bunch of spring training.
It just ended.
No,
that
they're
just
over.
ended.
That just
Okay.
ended. Yeah.
Today or yesterday was the last. I think today was the travel.
We missed it. I wanted to go.
I know. Another year. I've never been to an opening. I've never.
We
been-
have to go next year for
We
sure.
really got to go, Mayor.
Let's call them up and tell them to come back and do one.
Yeah.
They'll do it for you. Tigers are playing the Dodgers. Uh-oh. I don't like that. I don't like opening up
The
and
Dodgers are already 2-0.
oh, that's right.
They played in Japan and won 2 games already.
That's not fair.
They're on their way to an undefeated season.
Dodgers gonna be tough this year. Yankees and the Mets. I think we're talking. I mean, 3 teams that all got their starts in New York.
Only about half the New York writers picked the Yankees to even win the East. Nobody picks them to get in the World Series.
Nobody.
Not a single New York writer.
Wait, where's the Tigers game? Is it?
Los Angeles.
I mean, the Dodgers are, the prohibitive favorite to win.
Yes. That's why I don't want to go up there, though. I mean, what's going
But
on?
the Yankees aren't even in the number 2 spot. They're probably 4 or 5 right now.
It's early.
Well, they have a lot of injuries.
Is there a-
okay.
They have-
It's
Starts
very early.
It's early. It's early, but it's late in the sense that they've lost their best pitcher. They've lost one of their best hitters, and of course, they lost Soto to the Mets. Now they picked up Bellinger, and they picked up a couple of other players, but that means it all has to work.
Right.
It might. Bellinger's a left-handed hitter. So was Soto. And being a left-handed hitter is much more pleasant in Yankee Stadium than being Judge, who's a right-handed hitter.
Right.
The Judge makes up for it by having unbelievable power.
Right. He does. Yeah. But losing Soto, is that why you think they?
Yeah, so losing Soto was a big, big problem because you put Judge Soto 1-2, 1-2. You've got the best right-handed power hitter in baseball and one of the best left-handed power hitters in baseball.
Right.
And both of whom can also walk, get singles, and run. So Soto is gonna do wonders for the Mets. He's gonna lift them, like he did the Yankees. He really basically put the Yankees out ahead in the first month. Nobody was playing well except him last year. So it was a big loss. I don't know how they lost him. There's a guy that when you see him and you realize how good he is, if you understand the history of the Yankees, you say he's got to finish as a Yankee.
Yeah.
And that's what George would have done. But George is gone and the world is different. And just Donald Trump and I will cry over it.
Right.
So
There's a cute story I got.
tomorrow we're going to look very, very carefully and determine if this story about chat
Oh no, Signal chat.
keeps going on.
Well, Mayor, we know the answer to that. The media is going to keep it going. The Democrats are going to keep it going. It's up to our side, our people, the administration to shut this thing down or is that impossible? Are we not able to do that? I mean, in that I'm not saying that as a criticism. Is it something that you have to address if the weight of the legacy media, the opposing party continue to make this a thing? Do you see a way? What would be your advice, Mayor?
My advice would be go bomb Iran and change the story. No, I don't like bombing people to change stories, but I'm dying to bomb Iran so much I'm willing to give him any excuse to bomb Iran. I think we should take out all the Iranian nuclear facilities and we'll change the story for weeks.
Right. Right.
Now, you want to do a minor change of story? Eliminate the Houthis tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
No more Houthis. No more. You want to be a Houthi? We put a bomb on you.
Yeah.
but a much more effective thing would be to take out Iran's nuclear power. And I think in 2 months, the Ayatollah will be gone.
Hey, walk and chew gum.
Mm-hmm.
This guy. Well,
There's no better time to do it. Iran is on the balls of its you-know-what, and they have nothing left. They've got no allies that can help them. This is the time to take them out.
right.
We should have been taking them out for the last 5 decades.
Right. Well, Mayor, a little interesting, I don't want to call it a feel-good story, but a cute little story here. We did have an intruder onto the White House grounds today.
Oh, who was it?
Take a look
Joe
right up
Biden?
here.
Get lost?
A 5-year-old boy had inadvertently made his, you know how they have the fence outside the White House? A 5-year-old boy slipped through the fencing at the White House. And here's a Secret Service agent calmly, nicely delivering the kid back to his parents. The parents are probably a little with those guys. That I will say that gentleman does seem to have some experience with kids, right? He seems to know how. Maybe I would have left the gun behind, but yeah, he's obviously not obvious, but there's a good chance he's a father, right? Something. That kid's got a story for the rest of his life.
What did he do? Go under fence?
Yeah, he went. The fencing there, which
If he did that in China, they'd kill him.
They may kill him anyway. It hasn't stopped yet. What are they going to do with him?
Yeah, bring him back to his parents. Presumably bringing him back to his parents, right?
What if they just dropped him?
Oh, they just drop him off and say,
Yeah, give him a little tent.
You can camp in D.C., especially springtime.
Well, you could, but they are cracking down on that. I think the president is forcing them to make some changes because federal funding in Washington is tied, right, to the federal government. So he has a lot to say in what is done in that respect.
Well, we had a wonderful evening. We're
Look at the
going
video.
to ask you all to pray for the people of Israel, because hopefully a lot of things are being done behind the scenes we don't know about to get us to peace.
Was the audio?
We know that a lot of things are being done in Ukraine and Russia. We don't know yet if they'll be successful, but not for want of effort. And of course, we should pray for the people of Iran that they can have
Too late.
a full and complete and beautiful government, which is they are within this much of. So let's also pray for America and for our president, who undergoes tremendous challenges every day and keeps us focused on what's necessary to revive America, make it in word and deed the greatest nation on earth. God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze.